you ever wondered how overseas Filipino workers will be voting in the upcoming elections? What could possibly influence the way they vote? Good day, my name is Grace Roldan. I'm a professor at the Department of Political Science and Development Studies at the College of Liberal Arts, Salle University, and I will be sharing with you preliminary findings of a short exploratory research on the perceptions of overseas Filipino workers on the 2022 presidential elections. While this study does not claim to be representative of the entire OFW population, it will somehow provide insights on what matters to the OFW voters and how their concerns may be addressed through some policy recommendations. So we ask, what are the perceptions of OFWs regarding their participation in the 2022 elections? More specifically, are they willing to participate in the electoral process? What means of voting do they prefer? And what sources of information do they access that help shape their voting decisions? What qualities do they look for in a presidential candidate? And what issues do they think the next president should prioritize? To answer these questions, online interviews of 118 OFWs were conducted from January to September 2021 through online platforms available to the participants such as FB Messenger, Twitter, Zoom, Google Meet, WeChat, and some by email. Majority of the participants were female. The participants also consist mainly of OFWs in the 25 to 34 and 45 to 54 age bracket. Most participants have been working overseas for 2 to 5 years and others from 6 to 10 years. And they work as healthcare professionals, managers, engineers, some are seafarers, domestic helpers, caregivers, and office employees. The participants were located in these countries in the Middle East, North and South America, Central and East Asia, Europe, and the Asia Pacific. The UAE, Qatar, US, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore are specifically the top overseas locations of these OFW participants, which incidentally correspond to the top destinations with high overseas voter turnout in the past elections. So, what are the key findings? When asked, will you be voting in the May 2022 elections? Majority of the participants said yes, they would like to vote. They see the elections as important to bring about change. They see voting as a right and an opportunity to contribute to change in the country. To quote one participant who works as a call center agent in Canada, oo, kasi importante para sa akin yung bumoto, lalo na kung yung pwede makatulong sa bansa. When asked the question, what is your preferred means of voting? Majority preferred online voting because of convenience and for their own safety, especially during the pandemic. However, they are concerned that online voting is prone to hacking. There are those who prefer to personally vote in the embassy or consulate to secure their ballot. To quote a participant, ang gusto ko sa voting ay physical para kitang-kita ko yung pagboto ko, pag-collect nila ng boto ko. Sa email, tsaka mga iba kasi hindi mo alam kung saan pupunta yung boto mo. Others, on the other hand, said that whatever means of voting is acceptable as long as it is convenient for them. Most of the participants get information from online news and the opinions of family and friends. Some also mentioned online communities as a source, as shown in one of the quotes. However, there is a deliberate effort not to rely on a single source of information, even the opinions of family and friends. They decide independently who to vote for based on personal preference, and some also do research on the candidate's track record and qualifications. Integrity is the main trait that the OFW voter looks for in a presidential aspirant. One who is not corrupt and sincere in serving the people. Trustworthiness and honesty are also given weight. One who is tapat sa bayan, may malasakit, someone who's competent and compassionate, God-fearing with vision and conviction, a good communicator, someone who Filipinos can be proud of. There's even reference to someone like the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, and New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern. It is interesting that a few participants prefer the strongman leadership style like that of President Rodrigo Duterte. As one participant said, he wants the next president to be someone like Duterte, may takot sa kanya, sinusunod siya, pag sinabi niya, gagawin niya. The main issues identified by the participants as what the next president should prioritize are graft and corruption, pandemic response, employment, health, and education. Corruption ranks first. This is seen as the main problem in the country. The participants express that if corruption is eliminated, there will be more budget for health, education, and livelihood programs. Poverty will be addressed. They also think that the country will develop and there will be no need for them to go abroad to work. These priority issues mentioned by the participants are all connected to their main priorities, which are family, work, health and safety, and financial security. Based on these findings, the following are recommended. First is to ensure and communicate to the OFW voter safety and convenience in the voting process. Authorities need to guarantee the implementation of strict health protocols in embassies and consulates during the polling period. The government also needs to continuously find ways to address voting constraints faced by OFWs in terms of time, effort, and cost. Postal and field voting can be enhanced, especially for places where OFWs are located far from the Philippine embassies and consulates. All of these should be communicated to OFW voters so that those who are hesitant to vote would decide to do so. Second recommendation is to adopt online voting as an alternative voting modality. Safeguards against voter fraud and security breach need to be enhanced to build confidence in the e-voting system. The COMELEC's test run in September 2021 showed the potential of yielding higher voter turnout with online voting. Improving infrastructure for this must go hand in hand with voter education. Trust in this new voting modality comes from a well-informed electorate. Third is to promote media literacy for OFWs and their families. This entails government collaboration with educational institutions, media networks, migrant groups, and other stakeholders to enable OFWs and their families to critically analyze and evaluate sources of online information. Having more programs that provide tools for OFWs and their families to distinguish fake news from truth would allow them to make sound choices come election time. Overall, OFW voters have a role to play in affecting change in Philippine society through their participation in the electoral exercise. By and large, what matters to them is that the integrity of the electoral process would be upheld, and the results of the upcoming elections would also result in the improvement of their lives in the next 6 years. Thank you.